Hello everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. Welcome to the Commonwealth cabin. I'm leaving this one. This is the first part of my day, getting stuff up on eBay. Now we're gonna go pull some orders, ship some orders. It's a little bit about what I want to talk about today. A lot of folks have said eBay in the last few weeks has pulled a quick one on buyers, especially, or excuse me, on sellers, especially without much notice. And they're rolling out these changes to shipping, opting folks into things they may not want to go into. You have to opt out of it and all that. I usually avoid getting to be the first one to talk about these issues. I want to process it, look at some folks' reactions and some of the implications. But the real question behind it is why this change? I think that's interesting. And then, of course, how do we react to it? And I'm going to tell you how I'm reacting to it. And I want to know how you are reacting to it as well. Let's go take a look. All right, as many of you found out a couple weeks ago, eBay's making this change on May 15th. And they sent a lot of folks some emails saying, hey, you know, here's the change we're going to make. We're now going to pass on the discount that we used to give you as a seller. We're going to pass that discount on to the buyer and show them that cheaper non-USPS retail price. And of course, many of us for years have enjoyed that discount and kind of build it into the shipping cost and the shipping and handling and all this stuff, as far as meaning cost of buying bubble wrap and tape and labels and printers and all the stuff that goes into shipping eBay stuff. So this is continuing the trend of kind of useful things that have been really selling well. These things had not sold in a year, and I've sold 2 of them now in the last week. A little chain for a chainsaw, $17 plus shipping. I think I may do them for about $3 a piece. Now, a lot of times when eBay does stuff like this, we all immediately look and see how it affects eBay, because they're making more money. You know, they upped it 10 cents for listings over $10. And we're like, oh, this is another money grab from eBay. Well, this one's a little bit different because you can't look at it and say, hey, this is how eBay is going to benefit from this, because in some ways they're not benefiting from this. So I want to look at that. Why did eBay do this is the question. And of course, we're not really benefiting from it either. However, for some of us, it's not going to make a darn bit of difference because we don't use calculated shipping anyways. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about other options you have, or continuing on and opting out of this, or opting into it and doing something else a little bit different that might, well, a couple things a little bit different that might kind of reverse that course and allow you to show that cheaper shipping like everybody else is going to do now, and still pad it a little bit where you can make that little extra money to cover your labor for shipping tougher things and to cover your cost of goods for shipping supplies. Talk about labor. That thing right there sold. I'm going to go up there and get it without the camera because I need 2 hands. And I bought this off of our very good friends, Brandon and Sam. She lost her father unexpectedly. And he had some really, really cool stuff, and they're going to do an estate sale down the road. And this was one of those items I'm like, that thing is really cool. And I bought a few things off of them, and I gave them $100 for this one. A lot of these don't go for a lot more than that. Some of them go for less than 100. But this one was just in amazing condition. And I rarely find them like this. And this is the Buffalo fire extinguisher right here. What does it say? To play, turn bottom up, to stop, turn back. To play. Anyway, this one I knew would go for more than that, and I ended up taking an offer for $213 on this one, plus shipping. So for now, I'm going to opt out of it, but you got to keep in mind something. I have very, very few calculated shipping items, very few. This is the kind of item that I might put calculated shipping on because it's big and it's heavy. But I've always adjusted my calculated shipping. I have not, a lot of you have already given that little bump back to the buyer and given up your discount. And that's fine. There's no problem. I don't really have a problem with any of this. As long as everything is weighed out equally, I think everybody can be just fine on it. And I am going to explore why eBay did this. But what I usually do with something like this, because the shipping discount can be so big, I don't need that much. It's taking away buyers from me, especially buyers that are far away. So usually what I do, if I do have a calculated item, and I probably only have 20 out of 1,600 items that are calculated, I don't have many. Usually what I do is I reduce the size that I put in to be calculated and reduce the weight. And if I were to not opt out of this, I would end up paying more for shipping than the buyer was actually charged. So for now, I'm going to opt out, but I'm seriously considering changing that as well. Come on, Pepper, open the door for me. No? All right, there you go. So here's another item that I would do calculated shipping on, and I did do calculated shipping on. And I'll give you just an idea here. Those of you who do this know. But I did calculated shipping on that just like I did on this. And the shipping that I was paid was $51.06. The shipping that I'm going to use is going to be under $28, under 28 bucks. And I reduced the size and reduced the weight just a little bit to make it palatable for more buyers. So this is something I'm just going to opt out of and keep the same. However, I'm considering, since I have so few items that I'm actually doing calculated shipping on, I'm considering going back into them and readjusting the weights and sizes to be accurate or very close to accurate. And then I'm going to opt into it at that point. I don't mind charging somebody the actual shipping price for a big item like that, because I know in my mind, I'm not going to sell a big item like this unless it has a big price tag on it. And you could probably bump the prices you have on the items up a little bit because the shipping is much more palatable for folks out there. And I think it's not necessarily a lose-lose here. I think it's probably a win-win in these scenarios, unless you've got some other extenuating circumstances out there, and some of you do. So this item right here sold for $132.95 plus shipping. I paid 20 bucks for it. So I don't mind, doing the exact shipping because I'm going to make such a big profit on that item. All the other stuff I have is either free or flat rate. Very few free, maybe less than 10% of my listings, but most of them are flat rate that I've chosen. Matter of fact, I went in and upped my flat rate shipping on my 4 ounce, 8 ounce, 12 ounce, 16 ounce. I upped it by 20 cents the other day, and it was something that I said I was going to do after I got through this first phase of selling off old inventory, and I went in. It was so easy. I really suggest people do flat rate, and then you wouldn't have to deal with this at all. But I kind of get it for the rest of y'all. If you're opting out of it, I think the prices on your items might need to come down, and I always preach this. I think the discrepancy or the difference between the two has to look normal to people to get a purchase a lot of times. If you're selling something for 20 bucks and you got $15.99 shipping on it, it just doesn't look right to the mind, even if people aren't thinking about it subconsciously. So I like that flat rate, and I like keeping that number down there, building in a little bit over what the buyer would actually pay, which would be what they're now looking at if you're doing this new opt-in calculated shipping. Wallen's here. He's like Kramer when he runs in the door. Cracks me up. And watching a lot of these videos and looking at some feedback in different places, I think there are some ramifications to this that some sellers who are opting out aren't really kind of paying attention to, that are going to affect their sales down the road. And that's just simply the fact that now there are going to be tons of people who have opted into this. There's a lot of people who do it already, by the way, but there are going to be tons more who are going to be opted into this because they're just simply not paying attention. And a lot of people now are going to have the absolute cheapest shipping out there, which makes them way more competitive for sales. So here's the strength shoes that I picked. Well, I don't know if you've seen this in a video yet. I don't think you have, actually. Strength shoes, whenever I see these little jump shoes, I pick them up. They go for decent money. These, without even cleaning them, sold for $40. So now a lot of folks like me who are using flat rate shipping, they're just putting a price on, a 4 ounce item, an 8 ounce item. A lot of those folks, like me, used to be some of the absolute most competitive shipping prices out there, and now a whole slew of people have now just jumped in front of them as far as being cheaper in shipping because they're charging the actual shipping price that they would pay. And that, I think, is going to have a detrimental effect on people who do use flat rate shipping. However, I still think that it is the best way to go ahead, and you're still showing very competitive prices, and you're still beating a lot of folks who are using calculated the actual right price to ship it to a faraway place. Now, having said that you're only beating those people in the cases where you're going to lose money on shipping. So that's not necessarily a good thing. But the key thing, I think, for folks to remember is you need to balance that price. The overall price is what matters, even if you use free shipping. That's the biggest thing. So I personally, this is tough, and a lot of people will hate me for this. And I just said I was opting out of this thing. But I think for a lot of people, they should either opt into it or adjust the prices on the items. And that might be tough, but I think what's going to go on here, this is what is strange that I really wanted to get into, and I'm going to pull a few more orders before I get into this second part of the question here. I think that eBay is doing this for a long-term strategy of growth where they might have made some mistakes in the past and that has hurt their growth. So they're going to bite the bullet on this one in a sense. And that might not be palatable for some folks because we just have it programmed in our head that if eBay's making this decision, it must be to make them more money in the short term and in the long term. And I think they're going to lose money in the short term on this deal. I'm going to give you a treat. But I'm going to kick you out because if I leave you in here by yourself, because I got to go inside and grab a shirt. You'll be up in the top loft over there. I want to add one more thing as an option for folks is maybe you do this. Maybe you opt into it and then you pad the shipping and handling part of it for $1 for every sale. And then that'll take care of your costs for this stuff. Take care of the labels and the poly bags and all that stuff. Because what a lot of people don't I guess most people realize it, that eBay's charging a fee on the shipping, right? So if you're being charged the actual shipping price on an item, you're actually losing money on every single item that you ship, every single one. So you got to take that into account. If you want to recoup that, maybe it's a little bit more normalized to be adding that shipping and handling cost of a couple bucks. I'm curious, how many of you, I've never done shipping and handling on stuff, or the handling cost, I should say. You can choose that, hey, add $2 or something. I think a lot more people might do that. Let me know if that's what you're doing out there. Let me know if you got the email. Let me know if you're opting out, if you're opting in. What are the reasons behind it? I'm just kind of going through some thoughts here that I'm having and want to get some feedback. I think that you can do it in any of these ways and still be successful as long as you are processing the total price in your brain and knowing what your costs are and what your fees are. I don't think any of it's the end of the world, but I am curious how you guys are reacting to it and what are the ramifications that you think are to come for it. And of course, why did eBay do this to begin with, which is what I'm going to get to, but I got to pull a few orders. I actually have to head back out here because I just listed this item and have not brought this bin in yet. This hat right here sold. It's a Marlboro Racing hat, and it was returned. So I had a hat return, and I relisted it real quick and got another sale. The person just said they did not like the terry cloth inside of it. And, oh, that brings up another point, y'all. See that terry cloth lining inside of it? So they returned it. Of course, it had the picture, and it said it was a terry cloth lining on the inside. So I did not return their shipping portion. And so this is a little bit of a change that will be a negative. When you have somebody return something that they just didn't like, I never return their actual original shipping costs. And so if people do that out there, now the shipping costs are a little lower, that bumps that down a little bit too, which is a negative. But this sold for 20 bucks per shipping. I'm trying to think if I was in different scenarios. If I were to have listed everything I had calculated shipping, and a lot of people do out there, I think, and I had the actual or at least estimated weight and size correct, I think I'd probably opt into it. I really do. If I wanted to stay with calculated shipping. And then I would make other adjustments. But the truth of the matter is, if I were doing calculated shipping, I would change the flat rate shipping. Because I just like it that much. I think it's that much of an advantage. Uh-oh, there's Pepper. See? You see what I'm talking about? She got up there. You almost knocked that Nintendo 64 down. And don't take this as some reselling dogma. I've often said there's 8 million ways to do this and be successful at it. So I'm just kind of processing. Let me know what you think out there of this whole thing. Let me know also if you do religiously do free shipping already, or religiously do calculated shipping, or religiously do flat rate shipping. And if you're just like 100% any of those. A lot of people do different things. I have all three, but predominantly by far flat rate shipping. Let me read this because I never read it. Actually, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I've already kind of said a lot of it, right? But what I want to read is this. They give you a reason why they're doing this, and I don't think that's completely forthcoming, to be perfectly honest. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm just saying there's got to be a different reason behind it than this, because eBay makes shipping. They charge fees on that shipping portion. And I think that that is a huge moneymaker for them. And the people that are making sales with calculated shipping, you know, they're getting less fees now because they're reducing that significantly. Now, they might be betting on the fact that those people are going to also raise their prices, so they're going to get the same fees, but I'm not convinced of that. Let me read this. They say they're making the change. We're making the change to help your listings attract more buyers by offering a lower shipping cost. To get this discounted rate that will be displayed on your listings, make sure to purchase your shipping labels through eBay Labels. If you want to opt out of this change, please let us know here by May 13th, and we won't make any changes to your current shipping rates. So, you know, at least they're giving you an option, I suppose. It would have been nice to get this warning in like one of those updates, but whatever. You can also switch back to showing standard rates at any time. And it's not about showing the standard rate, it's about charging it. But whatever. And you can make this switch back after May 15th. Your shipping discount, in your shipping discount settings, please note that this change will only apply to sellers receiving this email. Thanks for being part of the eBay community. So like I said, the reason that somebody tells you they're doing something isn't always necessarily why they're doing it. And I think there is a different motive to this. Maybe it's completely just what they said, but I don't think it is. $12.95 plus shipping for this Canon camera battery charger. It's not too bad. I'll take it. This can't be good luck. The black cat just walked under the ladder. That can't be good. So as you know, and I'm going to read something to you, and this is what I really think is behind this. I could be wrong, but I think what is behind this is something that I've actually been talking about. My sales have gone way up since I made the change to flat rate shipping and got away from pure calculated shipping. And the reason is I really believe it. The psychology of the price of the item versus the shipping of the item, having a shipping price that people think is reasonable. We know what shipping costs. We know how much it costs to ship a giant thing like this across the country, for instance. We know it's expensive. And there are a lot of folks out there who just don't get that. And so to have shipping prices be at the USPS retail rate, a lot of people think that's insane shipping prices, and it is insane shipping prices at the USPS retail rate a lot of times to different regions. And so I made that change, and I think what's happening here is that's the truth on a larger scale as well. So eBay has, in some ways, been the place to go to find a deal in the past, at least a better than retail deal, where you have these other places like the big one, you know, Amazon, for instance, where they're doing free shipping on stuff in the Amazon Prime, and then low prices on shipping and all this other stuff on other platforms and the bundling and all that. And I think what eBay wants to see, and this is just me talking, I think what they would rather see is when people get forced into this or opted into this or choose not to opt out of this, they probably wouldn't mind people, if they had their way, pushing people into this and having them raise the price of the item and keep the shipping a little lower. Because of what I just said, I really think that's the truth. Let me give you an idea. They're losing market share to other companies, I think. And this should be a long-term growth strategy for eBay and for your business, in my opinion. So I had a guy send me a message the other day. He bought what did he buy? It was a golf course rangefinder thing. You know, how far are you from the hole? And he bought it from me, and I have 2 days shipping, and a lot of times I'll ship it out in 1 day. But this particular one I shipped out in 2 days. And then it took subsequently 9 days to get there. So this is what he wrote me. He says, it's been 10 days since I purchased this item, and it still hasn't arrived. Expect a return, as I've already purchased another one from Amazon and it arrived in 2 days, right? And so this is about shipping speed, not about cost, but I think the same thing applies here. If there's other options for the consumer that they like better or that's cheaper, they're going to choose that more often, even if it's not financially in their best interest sometimes. And sometimes it's not. You know, there are a lot of items on eBay that are far more expensive than you can find them on eBay. Now, there's some the other direction as well. But I think that eBay's made the decision they need to be more competitive with shipping. People look at their site and they see shipping on average, because so many people use calculated, that they think subconsciously or consciously that these prices for shipping are too high, and they're done and they turn it off. So I think we're much better off using lower shipping prices and higher asking prices. So while I don't necessarily like the fact that eBay didn't give people advance notice, or, you know, they made this push in a different way and allowed people the time to adjust, or even if they're not going to adjust the old items, because they are old items they can sell, give them more time to get newer items on with this new policy. I think that would be better. I do think that overall this is I forgot what I was getting. Club aluminum. I think this is a better strategy for the growth of the entire platform, and I don't think it has to cost us any money if we take those other steps. I just don't like the way it was rolled out. But this lid right here, it's a club aluminum lid. I almost left it because I'm trying to get $15 and higher items to sell, and I just couldn't leave it for $1 because it was in good shape, needed nothing but a picture and a listing. And I'm glad I picked it up, I guess. It's sold for $12.30 plus shipping. It's taken me a while, but I finally remembered to give the giveaway for the April 22nd video that we talked about taxes quite a bit. And the winner of the 1 month free My Reseller Genie, and that winner is at Kim Choi 0613. Send me an email at commonwealthpicker@gmail.com, and I will take care of that. Or you could send it to jess.commonwealthpicker@gmail.com. You can do that as well. But 1 free month, and thank you to everybody who has signed up through my link. I really do appreciate that. I've got so much good feedback lately, and a lot of people are headed in the right direction. You don't have to use a service like My Reseller Genie, but if you got a brain like me and you got to use something, these folks are amazing, and I highly, highly recommend them. Use code Commonwealth, you get 15% off. Look at Pepper out there, finally behaving. And I forgot, and I shipped this out yesterday because I forgot about it for a few days, and I finally shipped it out. mulligansgolfshop.com, that is over on the District app. I sold a Masters hat for $10 plus shipping, but I can't show it to you because I already shipped it. And well, I just said you're behaving, and now you're in here. All right. The Elf. Oh, where the heck? Look at this. I only have one more set left to pick the wrong box for. This sold, this little matte lipstick sold for $16.95 plus shipping, and we have one more set left. They've been great sellers. I gotta pull some more orders, but people have been asking 2 questions a lot lately, like, when are you gonna put more Inaman up on the #1 Inaman up on eBay? We are slowing that way, way down. I think we have one up there right now, and that is on auction. But you can always find the #2 and the #3 over at CommonwealthPicker.com. And they've been asking about the Honest Tim t-shirts, and we sold those on Whatnot for 1 day, and we have some left over. They are only sizes large and XL, and we're selling those over on Dibdit.com. You can grab one over there, Honest Tim for President shirt, and I know a lot of folks have been asking about that. So that's where they're at. They're not at CommonwealthPicker.com. I feel like I might have missed... no, I haven't. No viewer sales that I've read today, but this one I know is a viewer sale, hiding behind the pineapple right here. No message, but it is going out to Wayne, and this SeaWorld Plus, vintage SeaWorld plush, sold only for $8 plus shipping, but this is the kind of stuff, you know, I just can't leave behind. I love Shamu. And I say that, and guess what I get? A viewer sale. So they should be in here. We are down to one more set of these at $7 for the breast cancer awareness enamel tack pin. So $7 on that. And it is headed out to John. So John, thank you. Longtime viewers, love the information you provide on your videos. Also celebrating cancer-free for 2.5 years. Congratulations, that is awesome. I'm glad you picked that up. I appreciate the support, and we wish you the absolute best. Man, this was a quick seller too. The next one's out here, and this has got an interesting story. As I announced on the last video, we are hiring Jess more full-time than she used to come and help a little bit, but now we're going to hire her to head up our live selling and allow me to focus on eBay completely in order to, let me get a light on in here, in order to ramp it up. My goal is I have some pretty big goals as far as how much money we can make on eBay this year. And I'm going to talk about them a little bit more next episode, but the fact that I have all my reselling time to completely focus on eBay is no. You got to get out of here. No. Out. Oh my goodness. But this is a story about her because she is moving into an apartment with her little boy, who happens to be Turner's best friend. She's excited about helping us out and having a schedule that has flexibility and all that stuff. And she asked me if I could find a TV while I was out garage selling. And I did. And the TV that I found, I saw this attached to it. And I'm like, sweet. They wanted 35 bucks for the TV. And this was included in it along with the remotes for the TV. And I'm like, this is awesome. I can sell this, recoup the 35 bucks, and I can just give her the TV. And of course she wanted to pay me for it, but I wouldn't let her. And I think we came up with some agreement. But at any rate, this was a nice little sale. You find these out there, a lot of them. There's different models and stuff, but a lot of the Apple TVs with the remotes, they go for good money. This one sold for $49.95 plus shipping really quick. I love chance yard sales, which means, you know, I'm headed to one sale that I know where it's at, and I'm headed there on purpose, and then I see a sale that was unadvertised anywhere, and I go to it, and hardly anybody's gone to it. And it was late in the day, and it was one of the best sales of the day. And I found all kinds of stuff to sell, including two little buckets full, I don't have them in here, I don't think, of softballs. And a ton of stuff like that for 20 bucks. And there was a whole ton of stuff you could sell. And just these 6 softballs right here, these are Jugs softballs. And they're in perfect, like new condition. And meaning they're pitching machine balls that are soft. And these sold for $25 plus shipping, so that recouped all my cost for everything that I bought of all that softball stuff, and there's probably $150 worth of other stuff. You haven't been in here all day. You want some treats? Speaking of live selling, we are going to up that. My goals, I'm not going to get into it here, but I want to give you some numbers, and I hardly ever do this, probably in the next episode. So bringing Jess on like this and having her completely take over 2 things, which is online selling with the help of Bub's girlfriend. But she's, you know, heavy into school, getting ready to graduate and all that. And then she'll probably go out and get a normal job. And I don't know how much she'll be able to help us. So she's going to take over the online live selling, So I can focus on what I love in here in eBay. And I've already been doing that for a while now and have really ramped it up. And hopefully I'm going to ramp it up even further and make the most money we've ever made on eBay this year. And she's going to head up the live selling and a couple other things, acquisitions, because I've always turned down people who want to sell out collections. And I think with her, because I can't handle it. You can only do so much. And I'm making, you know, 5 full-length videos a week, and I'm doing the podcast with Dave and Carrie. I'm doing Facebook. I'm doing TikTok, Instagram. There's only so many hours in the day. And so to ramp up that, one of the pieces we're adding is we're going to be doing at least 2 Dibdit lives a month. And I don't have to list the stuff over there. I don't have to ship the stuff. She's going to do all that. I'm just going to host the show. And we have one coming up. I don't know. What do we got? We got some really cool ones coming up. So go over there and check us out. And the deals over there are awesome because I love controlling shipping, y'all. And that is really a key to this. And I think that's part of growth. Offering reasonable shipping to the buyer is a big, big deal. And still padding it a little bit so that you can cover your expenses when you ship stuff. So, at any rate. All right, y'all. Turner is headed to a baseball game. Turner, you're on 2 teams. What are your 2 team names?
The Bears and the Dirtbags.
The Bad News Bears. You kind of look like Tanner out there. I hope you don't act like Tanner from the Bad News Bears. Do you remember watching that with me?
No.
We're going to watch the Bad News Bears. You might not be old enough, but we're going to do it anyways. Mama won't know. All right. What's your joke?
Who holds the water in baseball?
Who holds the water in baseball? I'd say the water boy, but there are no water boys in baseball. I don't know who.
The pitcher.
Good luck today.
Bye.
All right. Once again, my wife's in here helping me ship, and I forgot something. How much did it sell for?
5.
Huh?
5.
No. The Star Wars thing?
Yeah.
No, 35. This one sold for $32.95. It's a when in doubt, parted out item from the Millennium Falcon. And it is just a few little pieces that go to it. So 35 bucks for that right there. Not bad for a throwaway. Somebody was getting rid of that thing because it was missing some parts and it was broken. So I'll take that on a when in doubt part out on. Plus we got a couple more items. See, look at that. That's the top of it right there. Not a bad sale. Hey, everybody's in here today. Reagan's got to work for free because I got to do orthodontist work on her. Wallen's excited that Blue Ridge Mama's home. All right, what do you got? Commonwealthpicker.com. Actually, one of the sales, the first one here, Wade, I think, came from a marketplace sale over on Whatnot. So, Wade, thank you for buying. I think you bought a hat. What does this say?
CWP hat.
CWP hat, right there. Old trucker hat. And then the rest of them came off of Reagan's Commonwealthpicker.com.
Dan, Daniel, Robin, and Roman got a hillbilly sticker.
Dan, Daniel, Robin, and Roman. That's Anytime Picker, y'all. I see. That was on the screen a little while ago. He does a podcast, does some videos over there as well. So thank you, Roman. You been a friend.
Fun to hang out with.
Roman's a pretty funny guy, for sure. Thank you, Roman. We appreciate you very much.
Bye, and don't forget to get your sticker at CommonwealthPicker.com.
All right, y'all, I have to head to Turner's game really quick, but let me know down in the comments, what's your strategy on this? How is this going to affect what you do? Are you opting in? Are you opting out? Do you not need to do any of the following because you're already doing flat rate shipping or free shipping? Let me know what you think about the way that eBay rolled it out. If they could have done it better, if they should have left it as an opt-in like it traditionally has been. Let me know what you think the reason is behind why eBay did it to begin with. And as always, we appreciate you stopping by, and I can't wait to see you next.